Hello, everyone. I
Hello.
think we are live now.
Oh, Shazia, do you want to go or should I?
You can go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning. And thank you for coming to our session. So, today we're going to present on behalf of the Institute of Interdisciplinary Studies, where we house two programs. So, my name is Mayurika Chakraborty, and I'm the program advisor of Childhood and Youth Studies. And I'm going to present on that segment. And I also have here with us Dr. Shazia Sadaf, my colleague, who teaches in human rights and social justice, and she's going to present on that segment. Hi, Shazia.
Hi, my name is Shazia. I'm going to present the human rights and social justice from the behalf of human rights and social justice. But I'm going to go after Mayurika, so I'll let Mayurika speak about childhood and youth studies, and then I'll take over and I'll talk about human rights and social justice program.
Excellent. Thanks, Shazia. Just 1 second. I'm not sure why the. Okay, there. You should be able to see the slide. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Childhood and Youth Studies program, how the program was envisioned, and what kind of skills you gain in the program, and where the program might take you. And after this, if you have any questions, I'll be very glad to address those as well. So, Childhood and Youth Studies program, it really provides the students with an interdisciplinary education, and it prepares the students for a wide range of careers and involving working with children and youth, and you acquire skills necessary to work effectively with children and youth in various capacities, and gain an understanding of the complex contexts of childhood and adolescence throughout history, and so not focused on a specific period. And also, by the end of the program, develop a commitment to the welfare of children and youth in Canada, but also across the world. Um, I would like to focus on two important aspects of the program. The first one I already mentioned is the interdisciplinary nature of the program, and probably also rationale why it is housed under the Institute of Interdisciplinary Studies. And by this, I mean that we approach the field of critical childhood studies from various disciplinary perspectives. So you will see, my colleagues, they come from various disciplinary backgrounds like history, education, literature, gender studies, disability studies, curatorial studies, critical race studies, children's rights and activism, and so on. And you will see the courses that are offered in the program reflect this commitment towards this interdisciplinary nature of the program. And the second thing that I wanted to focus on was that we adopt an intersectional approach. What this means is essentially, we begin from the premise that not all children live within the models of, Western models of normativity, and that childhood or experiences of childhood and youth, these experiences are essentially intersectional, and they intersect with the categories of race, gender, class, caste, depending on where or in which cultural context it is childhood or youth are being studied. So that these two are very important fundamental kind of approaches that inform our teaching in the program. The third thing that I would like to point out is something that is our forte is the importance that is placed on experiential learning, where the students get opportunities to work with children and youth in real life settings and undertake applied research projects during their time here with us. And this can take various forms. There's a second year course, a mandatory course on experiential learning. There's also a third year practicum, a year-long course where the students go and work in various setting, but in every case, working with children or youth in some capacity or the other for the entire year. And of course, it's a credit course. But then experiential learning is also incorporated in the other courses, which are beyond the practicum and the second year experiential learning course. In the program, you also gather skills which are transferable, like the research that you might undertake during your undergraduate studies, writing, communication of other sorts through presentations as well, critical thinking, problem solving. These are the skills that you can then go forward with and apply in various other fields. The next thing I wanted to focus on, because this is always a question that I receive during recruitment events and from students or prospective students who are thinking about coming to our program, is where can this program take me? And I have identified basically 3 sectors and with some examples, but of course this is not an exhaustive list at all. So one of the categories or one of the fields that you can go into after finishing your degree here is government and education. A lot of our students are destined for the they want to join the teachers college and they want to be future educators, teachers themselves. And a lot of our students end up being teachers, child and youth workers, counselors who are based in schools, international development educators, and so on and so forth. And there's some other options listed here as well. And these are some of the jobs that our students have done or have been doing. Another sector would be community and social services. So, one can be a youth outreach worker, a family support worker. Somebody can work in settlement as a settlement worker, working with migrants, family counselor, children's rights activist. And again, this is not an exhaustive list. And the third section, the third sector, would be health. And, our students have worked as pediatric healthcare workers, mental health workers, child and youth counselors, substance abuse workers. They have worked in residential care, and they have also worked or have become pediatricians going forward. And here, my last 2 slides would be on why would somebody choose Carleton if they wanted to study critical, childhood and youth studies. Number one is, with our focus on both youth and childhood, this focus is quite unique. That it's a program that focuses on both childhood and youth studies. And the second one is what I mentioned, critical intersectionality before, and also the accent or the emphasis that we put on children's rights and youth activism. These together make us the only program of its kind in Eastern Ontario. In terms of the way the program is structured, is also quite unique, and this is really a completely new re-envisioned program that we kind of started since 2019. So before that, of course, childhood studies was still there, but now what we have is a brand new program. And in this program, really, you start with a first year 1 credit year-long introductory course, and then that leaves room for a large number of electives that you can choose in your area of interest. And perhaps that would also help you in choosing one of those career pathways that I mentioned before. So if you wanted to work as a middle school teacher and you have a particular subject in mind, maybe in addition to the introductory course in childhood and youth studies, you take courses in that discipline or in that subject. Perhaps you would want to be a counselor working with children and youth after you complete your program at Carleton. So in that case, perhaps in addition to the first year course in childhood and youth studies, you explore other disciplines like psychology and take courses there. And so basically, there is a first year course that every student in childhood and youth studies would have to take, and 2 second year mandatory courses, but rest of the courses are really, or are quite flexible, and you can take them in the areas of your own interest. And thereby, that is what I mean by being able to customize your program to your own specific career interest. So it is by no means a very rigid program. And two students can essentially, complete the program in very different ways, depending on, their own areas of interest. And these I've mentioned before, but I would like to conclude by again reiterating the possibilities that a student would have in terms of taking courses in experiential learning and in undertaking applied research at undergraduate level. So I'll end here, and I'll ask Dr. Sadaf to take over, but I'm happy to answer your questions later. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayureka. So we'll shift the slide. There might be a second between one. Okay. So I'm my name obviously is Shazia Sadaf. I'm the undergraduate advisor for human rights and social justice, and I also teach the first year large introductory course to human rights and social justice. So as you know, Institute of Interdisciplinary Studies houses 2 programs. One is childhood and youth studies, and the other is human rights and social justice, and both have kind of a synergy between them. So it's these 2 units actually work in tandem within the institute. Next slide, please. Thank you, Mayureka. Okay, so this program is based in, the focus is based in 2 angles: human rights as well as social justice. And there's a little bit of difference between the 2. Human rights is looking at the framework, at the laws set in place, at the ideals that we should be achieving, and we're looking at defining what those human rights are, and looking at whether those human rights are applicable universally. And social justice is actually trying to put that into practice, going and working for equity in society. So these 2 things are both very, very important. 2 different angles on the same. One is more practical, the other is more theoretical. And the program draws, just like childhood and youth studies, from a wide range of interdisciplinary topics. So your faculty comes from different disciplines, and the angle on human rights is from the perspective of different disciplines. For example, I come from a background in English literature and language, so I look at the discourse side of human rights. Another professor is from geography, another from anthropology, faculty from history. So there are very many different angles that we use in trying to look at a topic like human rights and social justice. Another thing that's very important is that our program looks at human rights and social justice from a very critical lens. Um, so we are not just looking at it as the perfect solution to all of the world's problems. We are also looking at the problems within the framework of how human rights is defined and how human rights laws are implemented throughout the world. So we take a kind of a critical view, which is something that is very important about our program. It's different because it is also um, looking critically at the application of all of these ideas that are housed within a human rights framework. Next slide. Thank you. So that's why we say that within the human rights and social justice program, we look at both the theory and practice. So the theory being the framework of human rights, the practice being social justice. And we do both of these in order to look at people's struggles in overcoming institutional and other everyday inequities. So these inequities, these challenges can be forms of discrimination or persecution or discrimination according to race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, ethnic origins, political opinion, and also we look at the history of colonization and the ongoing effects of colonization in countries all over the world, including settler colonization in Canada. So it's a wide range of topics that we cover. And obviously, with the world the way that it is now, it should be of interest to a lot of students in seeing how we tackle looking at these issues and how students come up with possible solutions for the future in making the world a better place. So it's a very important program in that sense, in that we see all of these issues around us, and being in this program gives us tools to react to whatever's happening in the world and try and sort out these issues, look at them critically. So a very pertinent program to get into. Thank you. Next slide. Why is Carleton a good place to study human rights and social justice? There are three main reasons. First of all, you have the option to choose from a very wide variety of courses. So we have cross listings from anthropology, sociology, from law. You can take courses in women and gender studies. So we offer a very wide variety of courses that you can choose from to cater to several interests of many students who would want to kind of look into one or another area of inequality in the world. Secondly, students have the opportunity to get a first-hand experience by working with a human rights agency or an organization, because we have a practicum placement course, a fourth-year course, in which students can actually go, and we set them up with an organization. We find them a placement where they can go and have a really experiential learning opportunity to work with organizations of their choice. And there's quite a wide choice of which organizations you can work with. And we help students get ready for working with those organizations in helping them create CVs, in helping them go and have their interviews with the organizations. We prepare them in creating their CVs, prepare them in how to go and have a successful interview, prepare them in writing cover letters for working with those organizations. And then they go and work with the organizations, and we get a report back from the organizations about their work. So they get a very good practical experience. Next slide, thank you. Another reason why Carleton is a very good place to do human rights and social justice is because we are in the capital city, and This is the site of Canada's government, and also home to many, many non-governmental organizations that are actually actively involved in the promotion of human rights, not only locally, but nationally and internationally. So as a city, Ottawa is the best place to be if you're doing human rights and social justice, because you have the opportunities to work with so many organizations, including the government, if you are at Carleton. And that's a very big plus. Next slide. Thank you. So what can you do with a degree in human rights and social justice? It can literally take you anywhere. There's no stopping you once you have a degree in human rights and social justice. It can lead you to a variety of careers in diverse fields, such as working in the government, working in the public or private sector, in social services, going into law, going into policy making, working in the education sector and in the higher education sector. There's literally nowadays no office that does not have some kind of a position that deals with equity and justice. And a degree in human rights and social justice is going to open all of those doors for you. Next slide. So just a little bit about the programs that we have before we go into the question and answer session. So human rights and social justice program, you have four options for degrees. You can do a human rights and social justice bachelor's of arts honors, which is a 4-year degree. You can do a human rights and social justice bachelor of arts combined honors, which is you can do a combined majors with another unit within our university. That could be your choice. So you can do a combined honors with human rights and another unit. Or you can do a special combined honors that we have, which is human rights and law, with a concentration in transnational law and human rights. And that would be a Bachelor of Arts combined honors, obviously with law. This is a very popular one. Or then you can decide to do just the Human Rights and Social Justice Bachelor of Arts, which is a 3-year Bachelor of Arts program. So you have these 4 options to do. Next slide. So there are very small variations in the program requirements for each of the degree options that I talked about, but the basic structure of all of them is the same. You'll be required to do a small number of core courses at the 1st and 2nd year level. Then we have 5 thematic groups, and you have to select some courses from each of the 5 thematic groups. And they represent 5 key areas of concern for our program, Human Rights and Social Justice. And then you have a number of free electives that you can choose from right across the curriculum at Carleton. Next slide. The 5 thematic groups are, in short, laws and institutions, critical principles, political violence, marginalized groups, and social and economic justice. Now, there are many, many courses to pick from within each thematic group. And these thematic groups give you choices not only from human rights courses, but also courses offered by legal studies, philosophy, political science, women and gender studies, sociology, anthropology, social work, sexuality studies, history, indigenous studies, as well as child studies. So within these thematic groups, we have courses from all of these other units, and you will have a choice to pick and choose whichever courses appeal to you the most. So you have a lot of flexibility. These courses will make up the bulk of your degree, whether you're pursuing the honors or the combined honors or the Bachelor of Arts degree. I think that was the last slide. Marika, can you try seeing if there's another one?
No, I think this is
the
last one. Shazia.
So this was just a very brief framework of the choices that you can make. But I must stress that a degree in human rights will open literally any door that you want to open with regards to your career, and also give you a very wide range of courses to choose from. So you will not be stuck with courses that you do not like. You have such a wide variety that it will cater to every kind of interest that a student may have. So yeah, I'll end the presentation there, but you're free to ask questions if you want. Okay, so one of the questions is, what supports does Carlton have for students with learning disabilities? I'm sure that there's a separate desk from the Paul Menton Center desk that will specifically answer questions dealing with students with learning disabilities, because the Paul Menton Center supports students with all kinds of disabilities, including learning disabilities. So if there's a specific question, I would recommend going to the service desk of the Paul Menton Center. But generally, I can tell you that there's a lot of support with students with learning disabilities. We have accommodations in place. We can support students with in many different ways, providing them note takers, providing helpers. I think that we have help with anyone who has any kind of disability. At least in my classes, I have seen students with a wide range of issues that we cater for and help and support them with those issues. But that's a very general answer. So I'm sure you're going to get a better answer if you go to the Paul Menton Center. I hope that answers your question somewhat. But I encourage you to go to, I'm sure that there's a stall, a booth of some kind from the Paul Menton Center. Will this presentation be posted anywhere in case we need to review it again? Yes. Yes, it is going to be posted. I can't exactly say where. Mayreka, do you know how they're going to be able to access it?
I'm not sure. Does Briar?
I think that those who have registered for AirMeet, once you log into the same AirMeet, you will see recorded sessions for all of the sessions that have happened today across Carleton University. So there'll be recordings of all of them on the same page that you enter when you registered for AirMeet. If you go and use your password and everything and enter it again, it will have a list of all of these sessions, and all of them are recorded, including this one. If there are any program-specific questions, feel free to ask Mayreka and myself. We still have time. We have about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I think that's for Mayreka.
I actually cannot see the Q&A, or am I maybe on the chat?
Yeah, you just click on
I'm...
Q&A and then you'll be able to see. The question is for childhood and youth studies.
Yes, I see. Thank you. For the childhood and youth studies program, how much is the course load approximately, comparing to a future student that recently attended college? Well, you can, of course, it's not specific to childhood and youth studies, but usually students take 4 to 5 courses during a regular term. By regular term, I mean of the fall and the winter term, so from September to December and from January to April, basically. But we also have this compressed summer terms, and you would do the same courses, but they would be more compressed and you would finish them faster. And course load, so I would say 2 to 2.5 credits, which would translate to about 4 or 5 half credit courses during one term. And in terms of how they're spread out throughout the program, like I said, you have one. I think that's probably my power. I'm not sure why I'm suddenly in darkness, but anyway, I'm still in the meeting, so you haven't lost me. Thankfully, something's wrong with my electricity. But anyway, so in terms of how those courses are spread out throughout the program, like I mentioned, you have one full year course in the first year, and that when you usually students come in fall, and that kind of spans the fall and the winter term. But the rest of your courses that year could actually be electives in any discipline or subject of your choice. In the second year, there are two mandatory courses that, again, every childhood and youth studies student would have to take. But again, the rest of the courses could be your choice. And after that, the program kind of opens up. You would have to choose certain number of courses from a list of courses. So there would be, for instance, a particular major requirement. Major requirement basically means a course that you need to complete in order to be in the program, in the childhood and youth studies program, being a childhood and youth studies major. So there would be a list of courses, say 5 courses, and you would have to choose, say 2 or 3. So there would be ample choice going forward after the second year. I'm not sure if I've answered your question, or if it was just about the course load, as in, how many courses you have to take in a particular given term. But please, feel free to follow up or answer if I haven't answered clearly. Follow up with another question.
I think that generally students are curious about how many courses they would have to take per term, and I'm
Yeah,
guessing
that is,
it's
yeah,
5. Yeah, it would be 5.0.5 courses.
yeah, that's
Okay.
yeah, unless, absolutely, and that is not program specific. That is, the
Yeah.
BA, the degree regulations.
But that doesn't mean that if a student cannot do the 0.5 courses per term, that they cannot do 4 and do 1 in the summer, if that eases their load.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely,
they can
absolutely.
they can do some of their courses in the summer to take the load off during one of the terms if they're not up to taking 5.
Absolutely, that is completely the course load, or how you kind of spread out the courses over the years that you have with us in the program would be your individual choice, and would actually be dependent on your personal circumstances. Like Shazia said, absolutely, you can do 4 and then take the remaining credit during the summer term, or vice versa. I've had students who are nearing their graduation, and especially with the pandemic raging around us, and so some students wanted to finish faster, and
Yeah.
in that case you can apply to do an extra half credit course. There's a process for that, and you have to go through the registrar's office, but it is possible to take on an extra course and finish faster rather than delayed. So it is really dependent on your personal circumstances.
I think Kijana was asking, it was more the difference between the workload between college and university. I'm not sure about the workload during college, so I cannot make a comparison. Are you, Myreka, familiar
No,
with?
not
Um,
really. But it would also be, I'm not sure if there's a, I mean, I'm thinking that it would also be college specific, and I'm
mm,
not sure if there's a kind of a guideline that regulates um, all college programs. Um, but you can definitely find out about the course load at Carleton in general. Um, doing a BA degree at Carleton, but also um, go through the program specific course load to kind of give you an idea about how many courses you would have to do. How you spread out is your choice, and you have some amount of flexibility. But yeah,
G-
you,
Generally, Kijana, I can tell you that if you're doing an honors course, you need 20 half credits.
yes,
And if you're doing the BA, it's 15, 0.5 credits. So
no,
if that
15
gives you,
credits, not 15.5. I think
uh,
15
it's
to,
15.
yeah,
15
15
total.
credits,
Yeah, sorry,
and
15 total. And
and
20
20
total,
for
sorry.
honors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so 20 for an honors and 15 for a BA. And then it depends on you how you want to spread them out, how many courses you want to take per term. You could add some in the summer, you could do it faster, you could do it slower. It just depends how you want to pace them out.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
If there are no questions, we'll take the time to urge you to to look into these two programs. They're both great programs, and they're very current programs. And also, I want to, since we have the time, um, kind of put this little seed into your brains. If you want to take the Human Rights and Social Justice program, we are starting a brand new MA program, master's program next year. So you'll be set for the next several years if you also want to do a master's in human rights. You can do your BA and then go on to do your master's in human rights. It's one of the very few masters in human rights and social justice that's available. Um, Not just in Canada, but throughout North America, there are very few masters in human rights and social justice. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. Did you want to add something, Marika, since we're here anyways?
No, I would, like Shazia said, I would really encourage you to look at our programs closely, not only at today's presentation, but also perhaps our websites on our specific web pages on Carlton website. And like I said, I mean, this is I think both human rights and social justice and childhood and youth studies are new, um, are very ambitious but also newly envisioned programs, and very very exciting and very very, I think, pertinent to in the context of the world that we are living in today.
Yeah,
And I think childhood and youth studies in itself is a fairly new discipline, and especially critical childhood and youth studies. And like I said, um, in many ways, the way the program has been, the new program has been envisioned, kind of incorporated cutting edge developments, what is happening in the world around us now. So it's not a program that is kind of frozen. It's extremely dynamic. And because you would be coming into a program that is completely re-envisioned, like the what I mentioned, even the course structure and everything, that started since just the fall of 2019. So you will see those that energy, and that dynamism kind of reflected in the course structure, in the courses, in the course choices that you have. And there's certainly a constant effort and endeavor to link what you learn in the classroom to the world outside. And
yeah,
that, I think, sets the program apart. And I'm sure it's the same with human rights and social justice too. So I would absolutely, like Shazia, urge you to kind of explore our programs further. And if you have any questions for us, please do not think that this is it and you would not be able to
yeah.
answer questions.
We have
Maybe,
booths that you can come to. I
yes.
also want to add one thing before the session is over, and that is that the faculty is very diverse.
Mhm.
So both of these disciplines, human rights and social justice and childhood and youth studies, because they have to do with rights and um, you know equity, equality, all of those issues, we need representation from non-Western perspectives. And because our faculty is so diverse from different continents, different parts of the world, bringing in different experiences, personal and professional experiences, that makes it a very enriching um, op- opportunity for students to hear from faculty who have lived and experienced other parts of the world and bring in their own viewpoints into teaching. So I think that that is very important. I think that Myreka and myself, we represent that diversity. And I think that that kind of diversity is very valuable in Canadian institutions, so that you don't just get one viewpoint on a certain discipline. You get viewpoints from different parts of the world looking at the same issue from a very different lens. And I think that that's very, very valuable about not just Carleton, but our own program specifically.
Absolutely. I cannot overemphasize what Shazia has just said. And like I said, I mean, one of the foundational kind of premises is that in childhood and youth studies that, like I think I mentioned at the beginning, and that not all children really live within Western normative models of childhood. And we do place a huge amount of importance on decolonial, in decolonizing the discipline, so to speak, and also focus on experiences of children in global South and beyond the Western parameters, really. Thanks, Shazia, for bringing that up. Yeah.
I think we just have like 2 minutes before the online live session is over,
Yes,
but we have booths, both of us.
exactly.
And if you have any specific questions you need answered, or you want to just chat with us, come to those booths. The booths will be open from 12 noon to 3 p.m. And both Myreka and myself will be available in the booths to chat with you. And that should be just like, in the pre-pandemic years when we had like face-to-face open house experiences, you would be able to go and chat to some of the professors. So it's exactly like that, but in an online format. You can come to a booth and chat to us um, about literally anything, just exploring whether you'd like this program and what it is that you're likely to learn, or if you want to talk about what kind of courses we offer. I'm ready to talk about the kind of courses I teach, and I'm sure Myreka talks about the courses that she teaches, and maybe we are likely to interest you with the kind of topics that we will teach as you come into first year. So I encourage you to come to the booths and talk to us.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say that we would be in different booths, though. So the
Yeah,
presentation part
was
was
together.
together, but we would be in different booths. So you would see one booth for childhood and youth studies and another one for human rights and social science, social justice. But you can scroll down and you can come and visit us both.
Both, yeah. Go and visit one booth and then come and visit the other, because we are within the same unit. So you might want to come to both booths. You scroll down and you'll see childhood and youth studies as a separate booth and human rights and social justice as a separate one. Um, so yeah, I look forward to seeing you there at 12. And I think our time is up, Myreka. I don't know how we're going to get off air. I think.
Yeah, I don't know that either how to, but thank you all for
Thank you,
coming,
everyone.
and I hope to see some of you in the booth.
Thank you. Bye bye.